And when I finished that film, I needed to find a film that I could get excited about, that I could throw myself in as if it were my first film again. And I realized that when I read Harry Potter.
Dry up, Dursley, you great prune. Mind, I haven't seen you since you was a baby, Harry, but you're a bit more along than I would have expected, particularly round the middle.
I'm not Harry. I am.
Well, of course you are.
In 2001, Columbus released the first of 2 Harry Potter films, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets in 2002. Shot entirely in England, the movie featured a young cast of actors that included Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint, along with screen veterans Maggie Smith, Richard Harris, Alan Rickman, Kenneth Branagh, John Cleese, and Robbie Coltrane. These magically delicious films were based on the best-selling books by J.K. Rowling, with screenplays by Stephen Kloves.
My daughter Eleanor read the book and she said, "You got it, Dad, you should think about doing this movie." I read the book and I fell in love with it. And I called my agent and I said, "I'd love to do Harry Potter." And my agent says, "Yeah, well, so would every other director in town, including Steven Spielberg, who's probably going to do it." So I said, "Okay, I'll forget about it." I started writing another script, actually. And then about 3 months later, for some reason Spielberg dropped out, and suddenly Warner Brothers was interviewing everyone, all of these directors. I remember getting the script in the mail, and it was a letter from Warner Brothers saying, "You must promise not to duplicate this script, to destroy it." I threw the letter away, and I went to the computer, and I started rewriting it. No one knew I was doing that. And I called my agent the next day, and I said, "Look, I need you to get me the last meeting. I want all these other directors to go in first. I want the last meeting." So I spent 10 days rewriting the entire script. And I flew to Los Angeles and I met with the studio and they said, "Well, why do you want to do the movie?" I said, "I just feel incredibly strongly about it. I can see the movie. I had a visual idea for the movie." And I put the script down and I said, I've rewritten the script. Free of charge, no strings attached. I just wanted you guys to see what I would do with the movie. I think that surprised them. In Hollywood, no one will pick up a pencil without getting paid for it. And they had seen that I had taken these 10 days and rewritten it. Whether it was good or bad or anything, I think that made an impression on them, because so many directors are so pompous and so full of themselves. For me, each job is another job, and if you really want it, if it's something you desperately feel that you need to do, you'll work as hard as you possibly can to do it. And that's what I needed at that point as a director. I needed a film that I could completely throw myself into, and it was Harry Potter. And 2 weeks later, I got the job. And as a result, I took that script, and I gave it to Steve Kloves, the writer, and I said, "Look at these as my notes. Take what you want to use, and we'll throw out the rest." And since then, we've had a great relationship. Steve wrote both Harry Potter films, and he's a director himself. And it was my way of saying to the studio, "I'm committed to this."
Welcome to Hogwarts. Now, in a few moments you will pass through these doors and join your classmates, but before you can take your seats, you must be sorted into your houses. They are Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. Now, while you're here, your house will be like your family. Your triumphs will earn you points. Any rule breaking and you will lose points.
When you watch this film, I wanted people to feel as if the film could have been made in 1955 or could have been made in 2001. I wanted people to feel that way, that it had that sense of timelessness about it.
Hello?
I wondered when I'd be seeing you, Mr. Potter.
The kids were all unknowns, so they were all, some of them had done nothing, this is the first thing they'd ever done except for the occasional school play. Daniel Radcliffe, who played Harry, had been in one other film, so they were very new and very green. In the first 2 weeks of that film, we spent just telling the kids, I spent telling the kids to keep their heads up, to keep their eyes open, not to look into the camera as they were doing a scene, just to get through it every day.
I wouldn't have swapped this for anything. It was a really fun time. It's the best experience. And I've developed as a person so much. Everybody on set has. I think even the adults have developed. And we all kind of, especially me, Rupert and Emma, and some of the other kids have developed really strong bonds now as well.
Those kids in the first film basically had a short course in film acting, and we did it all together. And by the time they reached the second film, they had become accomplished actors. You'll see their performances are much better in the second film, and they've become more confident with themselves as performers. By the time now they've reached the third film, they are just truly comfortable with themselves as actors.
I think everybody on set has really developed as actors and actresses. One of the ways I think I've developed is I'm not quite so shy about putting ideas forward. Because in the first film I wouldn't have done it. But in the second I think I kind of have a bit more confidence with putting ideas forward and trying new things and doing different line readings. And so I think the second film has proved to be much more of a challenge, but hopefully I've met the challenge and I've done hopefully quite well.
Listen! Terrible things are about to happen at Hogwarts. Harry Potter must not stay here now that history is to repeat itself.
Repeat itself? You mean this has happened before?
I shouldn't have said that. Dobby!
Stop, Dobby! Tell me, Dobby, when did this happen before? Who's doing it now?
Dobby cannot say, sir. Dobby only wants Harry Potter to be safe.
No, Dobby. Tell me, who is it?
I didn't do the third Harry Potter film because I wanted to spend some time with my family, and I needed some time off. I knew I couldn't give those actors the same amount of intensity and energy that I had given them on the first two films, and I had to drop out. I really did. As a director, I'm a producer on the film, but being a producer is a completely different situation. You have to sit back and watch a director do your job. And that can be extremely exciting or it can be incredibly frustrating. I happen to have a terrific director doing the third film, Alfonso Cuarón, so I'm loving what I'm seeing him do every day with the film. Yet at the same time, I miss directing. I miss being out there and working with actors, so I want to get back to it real soon.